Hi, Jane here. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about writing excuses. Why is it that you're not writing your book? Now, every writer has to deal with the excuses. There's always a number of reasons that come up to make you not get into your writing. And they have a way of always sounding very logical, very reasonable, even wise. Writing excuses are subtle. They can sneak up on you. They pretend to be very absolute truth, and you feel very justified in your decision to not write. And yet, in the end, all they are excuses. They're irrational reasons why you're not going to do what your heart wants to do, which is your writing dream. Now, we all deal with that for a while, and some of us break through and get through it, and others stay stuck. And I want to help you today to get unstuck, to get into your project and to start working in it. Now, I divide writing excuses up into three main categories. There are an innumerable number of them. They're unique to each one of us, and yet they all kind of come together in three different areas. So I want to go over those with you today. The first area is you're too busy. I don't have time. There's one that you hear a lot. The next one has to do with perfection. It has to be perfect, and so you never start or you never finish. And then the last one is procrastination, and that can just take on all flavors. Procrastination, I'll do it later. There's always a reason, it seems, why we won't do it right now. And they, like I said, they all seem good. So I'm asking you to be honest with yourself. If you have a writing dream and you're really wanting to do something, you're just passionate about it, and yet you haven't gotten into it or you haven't stayed with it. Maybe it's not started, maybe it's half finished, maybe you're getting ready to just chuck it away and go, made a mistake. I want to encourage you to look at yourself a little bit before you just go any further and be honest with yourself. What are your writing excuses? What are the things, identify the things that give you hassle, the main things that have the ability to stop you in your tracks. They're different for every one of us, but you have them. Getting free from that is just recognizing it, recognizing what your issue is so vitally important. And then getting through that is going to be your responsibility. No one can do that for you. People can encourage you. If you have a writing coach, they will encourage you, but they can't make you make those decisions. So, in an honest look at yourself, what is it that has you stopped? Which of these categories do your excuses fall into? It's worth your time to take a look at that. Sounds like fun, huh? Learning to identify those excuses and learning how to defeat them is one of the biggest things that you can learn to go on and become a successful writer or continue in your success if you're already there. It applies to everyone. So let's talk about some solutions for these three areas, these three categories. The first one, too busy, I don't have time. Well, there's a myth involved in this one, and the myth is the time doesn't really exist. We have to create time. As a writer, you have to create time to write. We all have the same number of days, same number of hours in every day. That's what a week is. I think if you do the math, there's 168 hours. Get your calculator out and find out how many minutes that is. We all have the same. So why is it that some get their project done and you see them getting they're celebrating the publishing of their new book, and you're sitting there with your book still in the dream stage or in disarray on your desk or on your computer? What's the difference? They found the way to move through their excuses and just do it. And so they've created the time to do the writing. We all as a writer, have time to write something every day on a regular basis. If not every day, then several times a week on a consistent basis. That's so key. So you have to create time, and time is deceptive. Lots of times someone trying to write will think, I need a week of time before I can do anything, or I need a vacation, or they put some stipulation and they want this big piece of time. And let me tell you that for the majority of writers, that's just a luxury. We all have to write. Number one, writing daily is just such a valuable, if not essential, I tend to think it's essential, element to successful writing. But I have taken times in my life where I have gone away and written for a period of time, but I didn't really find it any more effective than just my daily 30 minutes here, 45 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 on a Saturday. But it worked into my schedule because I carved it out of my schedule. And you have to do the same thing. It's that consistent, those little pieces. Look at your life right now. Where do you have time today to write 300 words? 300 words is nothing. When you sit down and start, it's almost done before you start. 500 words, 1,000 words, 2,000 words. You grow into it. Sometimes you have time to write a few hundred. Other times you might get to 1,000 or better. The key to it is that you're writing. You're getting it done on a consistent basis, and you're not waiting for that magical time to show up. You're carving it out as you go, and that's just key. It keeps your dream from being stagnant and moves you into accomplishing your goals with it. Let's talk about solutions for this perfection thing. It has to be perfect. Oh my, that's just a big one. And I think so many people have a misconception that you have to be some kind of tremendous writer to write a book. I don't know what this writer is, but I don't know that any of us really are that. We all who write have chosen to write. I've always said writers write. That's what makes you a writer. If you write, you're a writer. You grow in your craft, you grow in your skills, you grow in your accomplishments, but writers write. So perfection has nothing to do with the writing process. It truly does not. And you have to get that into your thinking and get perfection out of it. Number one, perfection does not exist. That you can get a room full of editors together and look at one particular manuscript, and just about everybody in that room will agree on some points, but every one of them will have a point where they go, well, I think we should do this. Well, no, I think we should do this. There is no perfection, that thing where everybody just agrees that, oh, this is perfect. Books aren't like that. Even people who write academic works, can't talk. People who write academic works, you see them, they have a long string of initials after their name, and you think, oh, well, you've got to be like that. Even people that are like that still have to keep their focus on their material, on their story, on their message, and not start thinking about perfection. Anytime any writer has anything other than their material and their story in their mind as they write, it comes out in poor quality in the book. It makes more work for the editor. Perfection doesn't exist. People that write academic works, textbooks, that kind of thing, doctors, they're not writing from a perspective of I'm perfect. They're just solid on their material. You can be solid on your material also, and you write from your heart. You write from your knowledge. That's what writing is all about, truly. The truth is, you need a good story. You don't need an English degree. Leave the editing for the editor. I believe every writer should have an editor, someone other than themselves. I use an editor when I write. You just need another mind looking at it, another heart coming in behind it, eyes seeing it. Leave all of the perfection, the grammar, the punctuation, the sentence structure, the voice, all these things that want to trip you up in that realm of being perfect. Leave that for the editorial stage. Leave it for the person who's going to go back through it and just kind of clean it up. That's what editing does. So you don't create as an editor. It's very difficult. I am an editor, and when I'm writing something, if I write an article or an ebook or something, I'm working on things right now. I have to turn off my internal editor because she drives me nuts, because she's trying to edit something before I've even gotten the thought out completely into the document. So we all have the same stuff, but you have to turn that off. Just focus on your story, on your message, and write it from your heart, write it from your knowledge base. Don't worry about the details at that point. They'll get straightened out later. Solution for procrastination: I'll do it later. If we had a nickel for every time we heard somebody say that, we'd have a few dollars at least. Procrastination takes on many forms, and they all act like they're wise, like I said, like there's prudence and wisdom behind them. But the truth is that's really a myth also. I have worked with a client who was a single mom. She had 3 little girls, working crazy hours to take care of them. Just a really busy life. And yet she went on, and in the middle of all that, wrote her book and became a successful writer. There are other people in the same types of situations that have, in the middle of all of their busyness, become very successful bloggers, which becomes it all becomes a great income source for them. How did they do that with all of that going on? I mean, if anyone would have the excuse of I'll do it later, the circumstances aren't right, it would be that person, and yet they move on through and they do it. Well, the truth is that they recognize that that is a myth. There is no, I don't have time to wait until it's time. Later never comes. And so they focus on the project, and maybe they only write a little bit here and there, but they continue to work on it. They give place to their dream. They give place to their writing dream. They walk in that vision, in that dream, and ultimately they achieve it, and it takes them where they knew it would take them, and sometimes beyond. So the human being, I think we have an incredible ability to adapt to our situations. You know, we have work, family, church, school, things we're interested in, hobbies, recreation, activity. We're busy people. By and large, we're very busy people. And it seems like we kind of do pretty well most of the time if we've got a few pots boiling on the stove of life, so to speak. There's always time for you to do it now. You have to make the time, and then you have to make the decision that you're not going to put it off until later. You're going to do it now. The power to defeat any of these writers' excuses lies in your ability to make changes in your thinking and in your actions. That's where the power of this lies. When you can change your mind, you can change your belief about something, you've empowered yourself to move forward into your writing dream. It's very important. I recommend that you take on a writing coach when you get ready to move into your project, or if you're struggling with your project. Bring in a writing coach. The benefits of it are many, but they help you overcome these excuses. They help you, they give you good assistance in every aspect, from writing to publishing and everything in between. They do a lot for you, and it brings such a sense of accountability, because they will hold you to what you say. They'll hold you to your dream. They'll hold you to what you say you're going to do. And they'll help you devise a writing plan and a schedule that will work for you, among other things. So I hope you've gotten some benefit out of this. As always, I enjoy talking with you and sharing from my heart with you. If you're looking for a writing coach, please email me. Click the link and email me. Or just go to janeruckeronline@gmail.com and let me talk to you. Let me hear from you. Let's talk about, I'd love to chat with you about your project and see where I can help you and give you some guidance and get your dream to become a reality. I hope you've gotten some benefit out of this. I enjoy talking with you as always. And until the next time, thank you and God bless.